Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
Hello and welcome to the Business of Influence podcast. It's brought to you by Style ID Africa. My name is Leroy Mark, and this is a podcast where social media influencers, brand custodians, and content creators meet to discuss the world of social media influencing. Now, as you know, the world of social media changes absolutely rapidly. Every year, there's a new niche that's coming out. And in today's episode, we'll be looking at which niches we should be looking out for and how they're influencing how you create content in 2025. In studio, I'm joined by Livy Seboko. He is a manager to the stars, but also a communication and brand specialist. We'll chat to us about which ones we should look out for and how they'll be influencing how he and the rest of us are making this industry make bang for us. Stay tuned.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Livy Seboko, commonly known as Livy Seboko. I am a brand marketing and communications pundit, as well as a talent manager, but fairly well known as the one and only creative handler.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
As we said to you in the Business of Influence podcast, we're bringing people of high influence and people who manage people of high influence. In studio, joined by Livy Seboko. Livy, thank you so much for making the time to come to studio.
Nervous is myself. Thank you for having me.
Don't be nervous. We're chatting about a world we both know and enjoy. And for me, it's very interesting because of the work that you do and the kind of people that you work with, that you're almost like in the engine room of what happens in our timelines and our screens. But before we get to that, we have a little game we want to play with you. And I see you've got your bag there. And we want to find out what kind of things you have in your shibegana. And you need to explain them as you go along because I think people in this industry carry some interesting things in their bag. So
I'm
please.
such a basic guy.
Really? Oh, okay.
Happy to.
We really do like your watch, though. I know someone off camera said to me, they love your watch.
Thank you so much.
Okay, cool.
This is my card holder,
Okay, cool.
my wallet.
Why do you have a card holder and a wallet?
So I just got something's new.
The-
I'm lying. My cards don't fit in one
Okay.
wallet, so I need double.
Okay,
So it's just cards and some cards and money.
cool.
My phone.
That you need. Very important.
Mhm. I need this right now because of your lights, but I can't.
It's so bright.
My lip stuff.
How many times have you lost that?
I've become good with it, yes.
Okay.
I don't lose it anymore.
I found that when you hand it to people, you must keep it in your hand.
No, I will give it to you.
Yeah.
Go to the loo with it.
Come back with
Go
it.
eat with it. I will go home with it.
You'll find a way back in your pocket.
It will be in my pocket. My car keys,
Mm-hmm.
a pen, because you never know.
What you'll be signing.
And
deal.
hand cream.
Oh, okay.
And, okay, I'm not going to take this out, but he don't pass.
Do you still have the old,
Yeah, bro.
the green ID book?
I have all of them.
What do you mean all of them?
I have a smart card. I have a...
Why
It's called a smart card. not
Yeah,
ID.
the smart ID. Yeah.
I have a smart
Why
ID.
do you keep the old one?
I just have it. It's mine.
Yeah, I understand. It's
What
yours.
must I do? Give it in? to
No,
Home
it just feels like
Burn
it's a
it?
cumbersome thing to carry around. You know, it's such a. I'm a page.
Oh, no. So I have different bags.
Okay.
So that dompas, it's always been in here. I've never, it just stays there.
Okay, so Levi has a dumpas in his bag. Let us know what you think about the contents of his bag and what differences it has to your bag. And we'll come back, have our conversation with Livy Seboko about the world of social media. Something big is coming. A game-changing course designed for creators who are ready to level up. Whether you're just starting out or already making waves, this is your chance to refine your skills, grow your audience, and create content that truly stands out. From storytelling to strategy, production to promotion, we're unlocking the secrets to success step by step. Learn from industry experts, gain insider knowledge, and discover the tools and techniques used by top creators. This isn't just another course. This is your opportunity to turn your passion into impact. And guess what? You're invited. Stay tuned. The future of content creation starts now. Style ID Africa, where creators are made. Welcome back to the Business of Influence podcast. I'm still Leroy Mark, and we're still joined in studio by Livy Seboko. He is a brand aficionado, and he's been chatting to us about markets and some of the things that we thought we knew and actually don't know about traditional and digital media. So, Levi, when we left off, we were chatting about sort of the market and the niches that some brands want to go into. And that's sort of the meat and two veg of our conversation today. But I want to chat to you quickly before we get to that, because you've got an illustrious career, right? You've moved from, you literally went from agency, and then ultimately you're here now where you're running the creative handler. It's your outfit. You're doing talent management for some of the big stars in the country. Before we get to the creative handler, chat to me about the transition from the working with the brands and how you got to a point you're like, actually, I'm happy, I'm good, but I want to do my own thing now.
Cool. I want to build context, can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I'm matriculated. I'm not shy of
I'm
talking
age
about
out.
my age. I matriculated in 2010.
You're a World Cup baby.
World Cup baby. Tough year. I couldn't go to varsity for obvious reasons. My parents couldn't afford, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So 2011, I started just, again, playing on social media.
Yeah.
I started following people I knew from either TV or radio that I liked. Your celebrities, yes, but also I followed some journalists, I followed some producers. I knew those people as a young kid because I knew that I just want to do something in the media and marketing space. On Twitter, I got a follow back from Craig Jacobs. I don't know if you guys know Craig Jacobs.
Yes.
He's a journalist,
Legendary designer too.
legendary journalist and designer, great researcher, he's just great in the media space, media creative space. He followed me back, we spoke, we met, and he was just interested in what I want to do because I was fresh out of matric. I didn't know what jobs are out there or what careers are out there. I just said to him, look, all I know is I want to be the middleman between a brand or a personality and media or clients. I want to be this person. Whether it's PR, I just want to be this person. I don't know what they call it. Joke. I used to say, I want to work in publications because I thought PR is
meant publications.
Oh!
No, it was a publication
And
relations.
then he was like, no, you mean PR is in public relations. That's not publications. And then he explained what a publication group is. See, so I got to learn through him a lot. I learned a lot in different areas. I mean, I did a thing there with True Life at Media 24 at one point through him. There's a lot I did through him. And through him, I got my first job, which is at On Point PR.
Yeah.
As a PR intern.
Yeah.
I got there, I did all I had to do. Make coffee, sweep the floor.
Yeah.
Type a letter, type an email, print out this, go get that. I did all I had to do, but in all of that, I was always inquisitive.
Yeah.
I asked questions. I watched how people work. I was just always curious. From there, my internship came to an end. I became a practitioner now, PR practitioner, because that's entry level almost. I did what I had to do again. At least I wasn't making coffee now, but I was learning the ropes of the job.
The actual business.
The actual business. I had great, I call them my mentors today, but they were my bosses there. And Paul Lazagang, I don't know where Paul is. Shout out. Paul Lazagang, Fatima Onsadi, Vista Khalipa. They ran On Point PR.
Yeah.
Of course, I reported to a direct line manager, but I always looked for insight and information and knowledge from those three people because I really think they're good at what they do individually.
And at that point, they were, because I was just starting out in public life at that point, and On Point PR was running.
peak.
It was the brands you wanted to be on were on the books for On Point PR.
The peak.
South African Fashion Week was one of them.
Yep, long ago. Yeah.
And you wanted to get a Fashion Week invite, you better be on the books on Point.
When I was there, I helped with PR on Inet Bank, the NetBank Cup. Strictly Come Dancing. I did PR. So it was interesting that I could do PR for different things.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily need to be a brand like a NetBank, but it can be a TV show.
Yeah.
Wow. In the midst of all of that, we also had talent. We had David Lale in the house, who was an in-house client. We had Bridget Masinga.
Yeah, Bridget Masinga, she's a radio host as well.
And someone third, I forgot who. But the point I'm trying to make is here, from On Point, I went to another agency and another agency. But with every corporate brand I had to do PR for, I also had a talent I had to manage and do PR for.
Yeah.
I was always given, it was never just Nike or just Alpine or it was always Alpine, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
4 corporate brands and two
Yeah.
And they David
And I distinctly remember there was a campaign that you did that had DJ Zintle as the face of Albany Bread, I think. And at that time, and for me, it was so mind-boggling because it was the first time you saw like a mega celebrity with a household brand. Like
that was when I was at Weber Shandwick.
Yeah.
Now, Weber Shandwick is a PR firm to McCann Advertising. I don't know if you know these companies, but there's a company called McCann that do advertising. FCB is very popular. So those advertising houses you used Weber Shandwick as the PR. So they were all under the same umbrella, basically. So through that, that's how we got a Zintle for Albany. We also did England. Listen, I
You
worked
worked.
for a lot of brands.
You worked.
Because 15 years is a long time.
So when does it click to you to go, okay, I'm done now being an employee and I want to venture into the big bad world of talent management?
It just happened to me. I don't think I chose it per se. It happened to me, and when it did, I embraced it fully. I embraced it fully, and I treated it like a corporate. I treat my clients like corporate clients.
Yeah.
I don't treat them like celebrities. I'm not gashed over their fame. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not a thing for me. I treat it as a business.
Because your work was managing brands. So for
I
you,
was in corporate, so
Yeah.
it's no different for me. It's
Yeah.
still.
And I like that. I like that you see a Mihlali in the same way you see a Nike. You know,
Yeah.
that they're brands in their own right and they need to be
I respect them the same. I treat them
managed
the
as the
same.
same.
Literally, there's
Yeah.
reports. Yeah, the reports that people do every
Yeah.
month for corporate clients, I do reports for my people. But our reporting is really daily because we speak every single day about every single thing.
I want to chat to you about how then if we're going to take this line about, you know, your talent clients being like your corporate clients. And when we talk about how, you know, you do a lot of work, I mean, if we use Mihlali, for instance, Mihlali is a massive social media influencer. I think there are very few people on the continent, if not the world, who can compare like her. I put on the same echelons as the Kardashians. I put on the same.
Really serious. Thanks, viewers.
Well, because if you think about it, how many people do you know who have met Rihanna? How many people do you know who have been in the places where she's been? Especially for, and I mean this with all the respect in the world, at the end of the day, she's a South African black girl.
She's the first to do it.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
one of the first.
And she's worked with mega brands. I mean, L'Oreal, the list is absolutely endless. And when you start working with her, you know, every year there's a new niche that comes out. For instance, we've got now TikTok has a huge trend with traditional healers and herbalists who are, you know, showcasing their content. You've got people who are game farmers in Limpopo who are coming on board. The traditional beauty, fitness, health, chef, fashion are no longer the normal niches, right? It's really expanded. So how do you, when you look at your repertoire of people on your stable, do you look at them and look at the niches that are probably happening right now and you make sure you future-proof them? How do you make sure Mihlali continues to make money for the rest of the year, Musli continues to make money for the rest of the year as far as their social media work is concerned?
I believe that they weave through any and everything.
Yeah.
They really do, because the nice thing about managing human brands is you can but you can use relatability as your fundamental tool.
Okay, tell me more.
They are human first.
Okay.
So we speak into the human. You are hearing from a human to a human. It's better to, I want to give an analogy. Would you ever think Hendy Andy would work with a Mutsidisi Mohono? So just for context, I manage Mihlali Ndamase, Mutsidisi Mohono, Bongo Khoza, and Tabzi. Different people, all different spaces. Mutsidisi Mohono is a sport broadcaster. Bongo Khoza is a very well-known actor. Mihlali, as you know, is a digital creator, and Tabzi is a musician, but also a content creator too. Different people, different things, but they weave into things easily.
And they all have a social media influencer element in their repertoire of work.
Correct. Do you see a Handy Andy fitting into Mutsidisi's world?
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
But the next person typically wouldn't.
Yes, because she's a sports anchor. You think she's someone who's always in the field. She's very rugged. You don't equate her with being someone who comes home and washes dishes and cleans her countertops.
Now, what I do is tie in reality when it comes to Mutsidisi Mohono. She's a mom. She's a mom. She has a family. And she catches flights every other week to go do her show, to go be at a game. But before she leaves the house, who cleans the house? that's the relatability aspect that I talk about. When they shoot the reels and blah blah blah, I'm happy for things to look pretty. I'm happy for you to look hot and have a face beat, but you need to talk to me. You need to relate to me. I need to say, okay, if it works for her, surely it will work for me. But I don't know how to explain this. I want to crystallize it in a way that we're not selling things that aren't real.
I understand what you mean.
Selling
Yeah.
reality. So I'm showing you that before she gets slammed up on the stadium field with cameras and players, she's a mom at home. She has to scrub that floor or clean that sink in the end.
So what I'm hearing is you saying that there is actually no way to forecast what new niches are going to be there. But what you can do is allow your clients to be open enough or versatile enough for them to be usable in multiple fields, right?
Correct.
But let's look at a Mitlali, for instance, who's a digital creator. I mean, she is doing content on the hour, by the hour. We've got content coming out of our ears. I'm not sure Mitlali is in the world because her content says she's in Dubai today, she could be in Budapest tomorrow, she'll be in the Ukraine the next day. But what I'm trying to figure out is, how do you then, when you start as a business, looking at your brand, Mitlali, as a business, what do you do to make sure that you are at least in the cutting edge, right? Yes, we're selling relatability, we're selling a true thing, but what's some of the things that you make sure that, okay, this way, Mitlali will be able to make bank for at least the rest of 2025? You know, I always go back to Musli, where Musli was, to us, relatively unknown in the mainstream of social media 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've been able to build a brand with her to be able to make her the lead anchor for us going to France as the Springboks, right?
Yeah.
Coming back with that, we knew Sia Kolisi as much as we knew Mutsidisi on that trip. How did you create that she's able to be on the forefront, even from a brand point of view, whilst, you know, you not making her, you know, do TikTok challenges and dances?
I humanize them. I know I'm going to say this a lot, but I humanize them. I make them relatable. I tell the actual stories and crystallize it to make it business, to make it work. I don't know. I just humanize them. I don't know how. And also, Leo, believe it or not, there's things that come through, opportunities that come through that I decline because they don't make sense for them. Or it's, I don't know. If it doesn't make sense, I literally say no, or I pass it on. I call another manager and say, yo, would you people, I think Mang Mang would be dope for this. Are you open? I pass it on, or I work honestly. I humanize them. I work honestly. I don't capitalize on things. If it doesn't make sense, we don't do it. If it does make sense, we will do it, and I will charge you accordingly. I'm known for apparently.
Oh yes,
I heard.
But there's money being spent.
And I think because I'm from the background of corporate, I know how to charge.
And you know what the budget is.
I know what the budget is. And also, but when I do charge, I charge honestly because you as a corporate coming to me slightly, I want you to understand what she has to pay to make sure that you get that content piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, she doesn't use a phone. I wish she did. But she does sometimes. But there's content pieces that really need a production team. We can't rely on the phone. And even when we shoot on the phone, there's a team. And there's an editor. So when I charge you, when I bill you, I explain why I'm billing you. But the point I was making is I humanize my clients.
Yeah.
That's how I make sure they stay current.
Yeah.
That's the answer. I humanize them.
I've learned that the answer we're looking for sometimes is not the answer that we get, because when we do, for instance, like at Style ID, we do trends analysis, and people often want us to tell them what the trend is. Like, if you use this filter, this dance, this song.
Yes.
And we've come to understand that actually that's not what drives a niche, a change in niche, a trend, and building a community.
Especially in our market.
Especially in our market. It's actually how you relate to people. And I often make the point that we are in the business of people before we're in the business of influence. Because who are you influencing?
It's people first.
Exactly.
Like it or not, believe it or not, it's always people first. We work in the industry of serving people. We also are public service, believe it or not. We serve people, so we need to give back to people. If you can't give back to people in your mind, what can you do? Inspire.
Yeah.
Motivate. Encourage. Sometimes give. If you're working with a brand, if you're working with the Albany DJ Zintle, and you're able to, I don't know, CSI campaign of giving away loaves of breads, ekasi. That's something. It shows that you actually consider Abantu, Abase Loshin, that support you.
And that also goes into sort of making the niche work, right? That you're still in your corner of the world and you keep building the community.
Yeah.
And I want to chat about that when we come back. More about community building and how to make brands make bank for you with the bankable man himself, the creative handler, Livy Seboko. Something big is coming. A game-changing course designed for creators who are ready to level up. Whether you're just starting out or already making waves, this is your chance to refine your skills, grow your audience, and create content that truly stands out. From storytelling to strategy, production to promotion, we're unlocking the secrets to success step by step. Learn from industry experts, gain insider knowledge, and discover the tools and techniques used by top creators. This isn't just another course. This is your opportunity to turn your passion into impact. And guess what? You're invited. Stay tuned. The future of content creation starts now. Style ID Africa, where creators are made. We're still in studio with the bankable man himself, Livy Seboko, chatting about everything about making you bankable and also how you can dial in and make yourself more approachable in a world of niches that change every other week. We were chatting about how you were able to create the building blocks for some of your clients. And some interesting things came out of that. And I want us to have the conversation again. So I think what we'll do is we'll use a case study because I think it's very important for us to figure out how it actually works, right? How do you actually do the blueprint? We're having a conversation with one of my colleagues about there's so many people who are on social media who have other real estate, right? People have come out of Big Brother, people have come out of reality dating shows who are former Real Housewives, whatever. So they go on there as relative nobodies. No one knows who you are. But you know that for you to get the big bank sort of campaigns like Mihlali gets with the L'Oreals of the world and whatever, you need to like make waves. But when they come out of those whole cycles, I mean, nothing happens. You just need to look at the 10 years of idols, right? People go do amazingly during the season and then they come out and then we don't know what happens to them. How are you able, and I want us to use the example of Musli Mehono because she's an example of someone who is in a niche that no one really knows much about as far as women in sport is concerned.
Yes.
Because she's a sports broadcaster.
Yes.
She's a black woman in sports broadcasting. And she's not the kind of woman who leads with her sex appeal, if that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes.
She's a woman who comes in very intelligent. She's beautiful, sexy, but she doesn't lead with that. She leads with everything else. And that is a case study for us to how do you actually make sure that one, you create a market for yourself and you make yourself bankable and then, as you say, make yourself likable to be able to continue in a changing world of niches.
Okay.
Where should we start?
Okay. I met Mutsidisi years ago when I worked for another company called LM Relations. I'm going to name drop these companies because I'm grateful for the teachings I've gotten throughout my years in this business. When I worked for LM Relations, we did eventing a lot, and we did the Gauteng Sport Awards or the South African Sport Awards. I just can't remember one of the two. And I met Mutsidisi there. She was a award presenter. We met at rehearsals.
And she was already working as a broadcaster.
As a broadcaster at Super Sport. She was already that girl, but I think she was also still finding her ground in that field. We met. I just liked her. She was just a nice somebody. You know when you meet someone from TV and they treat you like they see you as umuntu.
And not as a fan.
I met her. I met Tato Moeng. There was a bunch of sports people. I met Tato Moeng, and I know Minnie Lamini was there that year. But we were just chilling on break, having tea and biscuits. And we were just having casual conversations, normal conversations. Like we were just human about it. And I just gravitated towards her. Met her there. We did the event that evening, and I never saw her again. Fast forward to 2021, when I began working at Duma Collective. At Duma Collective, I was hired as a PR specialist. For corporate clients. I didn't even know that they had personalities in-house. When I came on board, Sibu then asked me to also do PR for talent and not just and not just the corporate clients, which I did. And then fast track, I got moved or promoted to head the talent management department. So I moved away from PR, I moved away from account management. I was just talent management. That was my department. So I had to meet everyone. So I called in meetings with all clients. At the time, it was Musli, Mihlali Ndamase, Questa, and KO.
Yeah.
Not KO, no. The singer, K-Lo. K-Lo, there we go. I met all of them. I wasn't worried about everyone else but Mots.
Yeah.
Mots came into the boardroom, I met her, and we just projected her thingy, her profile.
Yeah.
Went through it, she introduced herself to me. She literally presented herself to me as if she's trying to
Like a pitch.
yeah, like she's pitching to me to sign, and I'm like, okay.
But you already signed, yeah.
But she was just introducing herself to me and who she is, where she's at, how far she's come, what she needs, what she's hoping to do. Because I need to know those things. If I know what your end goal is, what you're trying to do, I can then work towards that goal. Whether it takes me weeks, months, years, but I know the end goal.
So you have to have a sort of crystal clear idea of where you're going in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our conversation with Mots then evolved. Even after that meeting in the boardroom, we had meetings on WhatsApp, we had calls, we met. And I found it extremely interesting. After she pitched herself to me, I said to her, okay, first things first, take notes. This is the smallest things, guys.
This is the formula, right?
The smallest things really make a huge difference. I said to her, number one, this afro you have going on has to go.
So
I'm not saying she's ugly. I'm not saying afro I say means. I was saying for her, the afro aesthetic look does not work.
Why wasn't it working?
It has to go. It just didn't. Please don't crucify me. It's just you didn't see her beauty.
Oh, I
as
see.
much as I wanted people to see her beauty, like her face. But I didn't want her to go bald, obviously. And she doesn't like weave. She's not a weave girl. I said, perfect, let's do braids. So you'll be the braids girl. Your head is braids. Where I'm seeing you today, straight back tomorrow, I feel me, but braids.
And what it also did was it really solidified her as the girl that was natural again, going back to, salt of the earth.
But see, what that slowly does, you start small, you just do braids. But what that slowly does, it styles you. It creates an image for you. You started with braids. I didn't like how she dressed. I said, I get that you're very conservative, you don't like showing boob, blah, blah, blah. But you need to look sexy.
Because she is very sexy.
Yeah, because she has a beautiful body. If you guys don't know, Musli Seboko has a banging body. She's beautiful. I said, I need people to see your beauty because your talent speaks for. She is incredibly talented. I said, if you are sitting here and crying about you feel like you are not being seen, I can sit here and say, it's not because of your talent. Your talent is incredible. You were roped into SS because you are talented. It's there. But how do we enhance your talent? How do we enhance your image? How do we create a brand out of your talent? You may have a talent, but you need to create a brand to support your talent, unfortunately.
And you also need to dress it up in such a way that it gets the right eyes to look at you so that you're bankable.
You're very right. I had to explain that to her. I said, I'm not saying umubi or our style. I'm just saying we need to literally package you so beautifully that people aspire to be you.
Yeah.
So when you talk to me and you're trying to inspire or motivate me, I'm going to believe you and believe in what you're saying because you really built what you are all by yourself now, by just presenting yourself nicely. What that did, from that, saying change your hair, it opens doors towards partnerships.
Yes.
There's I'm a product, I'm a for natural hair. Used to ask not her, me, because I'm the manager. And I start thinking, you look hot in braids, and I like that you can style them. Let's maybe talk to a Jabu Stone. I'm a threats, I'm sure nice something, I'm a braids, scalp.
And so
treatment.
you created a brand, and then you created avenues for it to be able to filter into other partnerships so that, again,
relatable avenues. Relatable in a sense of it's something they struggle with themselves or they go through themselves or they like themselves. Like wanting to partner with a hair product company for braids. Intentional. Scalp treatment. She wants healthy hair. So to me, I'm thinking comms, marketing comms or advertising channels or comms is not only a newspaper, like I said. It's not only, you can have a profile on Twitter, whoever. You can have a profile on Twitter, but you need to reach people, and you can't only reach people by sponsoring a post. Because when you sponsor a post, it'll only speak to people that typically search things around the
And
lines
your
of
algorithm.
hair. So it's not everybody. I don't go searching for hair stuff online. I don't care for that. But if you speak to a Musli who I follow because I'm into sports, or who I follow because I'm just inspired by her, or who I follow because she's a new mom, who I follow because she has nice hairstyles, you'd be surprised at what people like about you as a person. It's not just your talent.
But what I'm hearing you say that is that you also then, by having those avenues and the brand having those pillars, you're then able to build communities around her.
Correct.
Communities that she's able to tap into in brands. And that means that when the partnerships come, you say, listen, I've got the whole sports community. I've got the whole Black women in sports community. And this is what I do because my talent puts me on the pedestal, and then these other pillars make sure that I reach these other markets. Oh, okay.
And it's a give and take. It's a nigga. From brand to talent, we all achieving the same goal. We all want to talk to the same person. We all want to engage the same person. It's just sometimes I need your reach, and sometimes you need my reach or my it's a give and take.
But then how do you
it's not a favor to one
or
person.
the other?
Yeah.
But then how do you make sure that there's an alignment, right? Because one of the conversation pieces that we were having around this episode was the fact that, okay, so we now established that the niches don't exist, but it's more about making yourself open to any trend. You can't forecast accurately enough what the niche will be, or the change in niches, or the emerging niches, but make yourself bankable. And then you put yourself as a brand where you're able to be versatile enough to be able to factor into all these things. My question then becomes, as you say, you've declined a lot of, deals. How do you make sure that you align with them? Because at the end of the day, yes, Musli has her work as a broadcaster, but she also wants to get more deals, more partnerships, right? Do we just, take everyone that comes? Do we, how do you align her with the brands, or do you have brands in mind and go, okay, we want to work with these 10 brands, so how do we change you to align with them? Or do we go, you are this person, so these are 10 brands who align with you? Which one comes first, the chicken or the egg?
It depends. It depends. So if you want to work with a brand, example, it's interface. You need to build an interface of your brand on your social media platforms, on your accounts or profiles that speak to the brand. So you can't, as my client, come to me and say, I want to work with Sunlight. I'm going to ask you why. Why Sunlight? Why not Omo? Why not? Why Sunlight? No, work with Sunlight. So if you come to me as my client and say, they have such a cool campaign, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of Sunlight. I'm going to say no. If there's no sunlight in your house, why are we working with Sunlight? Why do you want to lie?
So going back to the authenticity, right? You need to make sure that it's realism.
Because Mina, I can take backlash of any kind, but I don't like taking backlash of you using a situation to monetize it. That's not. Yes, we want to make money, but I'm not trying to monetize. I'm not trying to exploit situations to make money. I'd rather build a story around a situation to inspire, to then make money. Because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to make money.
Which is the harder thing to do. It's harder to build the story and create the work that goes with it, and
it's
then
not hard,
finally. What I'm trying to say is that it's not as you can take any brand that comes to the door, get the money, and then get potential backlash. But when you have a brand that's authentically aligned to you, where you've got a story that's going on, it's easier for me as the person who's enjoying the content. It's easier for you as the person who's creating the content.
And the stats don't lie. I wish we could use stats. Case studies now to show you that when you choose a brand that you know very well when as a personality that you don't use or you don't like or not even aware of, it will tell. Because the stats, the post stats will show that this is not something you use or you like or you even know
how to use.
Yes. But if a Leroy were to use a skin function, I would believe it because you are actually into skin beauty and looking proper. You take care of yourself. So you and the partnership is not a... And I wouldn't be surprised if your stats showed that.
Yeah.
Because That's
And
who you are. That's what you do.
You also see that the intentionality around it becomes very different when you start working with brands where you can see people actually like the brands. They go a little further. You know, one of the things that I remember having a conversation with you about at some industry thing was how you always go a bit further. You just do a little bit more. You do one extra post, you do one extra story, because what that does is, and it also future proofs you, right? Because when a brand comes to you tomorrow and says, I want to work with you, they go, yeah, we ask him for one tweet, but he brings 3. You know, we ask him for one post, but he does 2.
Because I also understand from having worked behind the scenes for brands, I understand the investment. I understand as agency having to convince client, which is brands, of budget. I understand what they go through. I understand the fight. I've been there. So it's always nice for a personality. Also, you can't, because you're a personality, when Rihanna knows you, you can't charge me an arm and a leg just because of that.
Yeah.
You know? So it's always nice to, when you sign on to say you want 3 posts, I always say to them, give them stories.
Yeah.
I mean, support them.
Yeah.
If they have an event around that campaign time, attend the event.
But also that goes back to...
It takes nothing from you to just getting ready, going to an event, ubulisa abantu, meet people, take pictures with people. People really like pictures. Smile for a picture here and there. Share stories where you can, if afforded the opportunity to share stories at that event. Basically, give a bit more of yourself because you want more from the brand too. Let it be
a give and take. I think my final question is, when you do look at and I think you've answered it, and I just wanted to, in your words, when you look at sort of the hyper focus that people are having right now, and there's a lot of stuff where content creators are in corners and they're really doing a lot, and there's lots of niches coming up, and there's lots of work to be done. There is space for everyone to make bank in the market, but you need to make yourself niche available, right? Like the big takeaway for me is there are no real niches. I mean, they're there. They absolutely exist.
Also, don't oversaturate yourself. That's very dangerous. That's because you become played out. You become overused. You become unbelievable. And when you become unbelievable, no brand is going to want to work with someone that's unbelievable because you're unrelatable.
Yeah.
Meaning you're not reaching the people that we need you to reach, how we need you to reach them.
So for me, it's about how those niches that we're trying to dial into, it's you being able to be real in whatever corner you are, relatable, and as a result, the niche will carve itself, and the niche will bring the community, because ultimately you want the community.
And we need to discuss this thing of within the industry, and it goes beyond just influencers.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
within the media space, like you said, there's enough for everybody.
But I mean, Levi, it becomes difficult because we all want to make bank.
Leroy, I'm not saying decline is skin. It's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
You really choose the brands that you want to work with. You need to focus align your brand as Leroy Mark. You need to focus align your brand as Musli Mohono. You can't. Last week it was Domestos. Next month is Hindi. Which one do you use, ma'am?
Sometimes I use both.
But do you
I get
see
you,
how
absolutely.
it may seem a bit
Disingenuous, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Really, and I talk to brands a lot. I really expand on conversations. They come in for one reel, but I talk to them like, what's happening with the brand? What are the plans? What do you need? How can we plug in? It doesn't necessarily have to be at or on our rates, but we can talk. We can have a conversation.
And it is about conversing, because ultimately we're in the business of people.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, I'm going to ask you to put on your fortune teller hat and say to me, and tell me, and I won't hold a gun to your head. Where do you think the social media landscape, especially when it comes to how we make money in this industry, how we influence, how we content create, how we key opinion lead, where do you think it will be in South Africa in the next, say, 2 years? Are we going to see more use of AI? Do we see less use of mega celebrities and smaller celebrities? Are the paychecks going to become smaller or bigger? What is
in 2 years?
Yeah, in the next 2 years, what do you think is going to happen in this landscape?
More use of influencer marketing, less paychecks, because whether we like it or not, it's becoming overly saturated now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to become an influencer. People don't want real jobs anymore.
Real jobs.
Well, sorry, you don't come for me. What I mean is regular jobs,
Yeah,
man, like my
regular
job.
jobs,
What
yeah.
I do is a job, and I'm not. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like social media that
Yeah.
much. But I love what I do, and because of what I do, I have to be on social media. But otherwise, but my point is, there's other jobs.
Yeah.
But in 2 years from now, more use of influencer marketing, not more use of AI. It will be used, but it won't be more of, because you must remember, SA is a bit behind.
Yeah. Yes,
We only now kind of trying to get rid of or forget about traditional media. Where in the States, they have years ago. Now,
Yeah.
The States, they're now tapping into AI.
Yeah.
They did influencer marketing years ago. We only embracing and are sitting in influencer marketing cozy right now and only are learning about AI. I don't think it's going to be effective and cemented in 2 years, too
Yeah.
soon. Maybe 5, maybe 7, even 10. What I like about our country and our market is we're so chilled in our pace. We
Yeah.
don't, we like things, but we don't like things to that extent.
Yeah.
We're not forward like that.
And I also think we allow our community to grow and understand what's happening first before we jump into it. Yeah.
Nicely. But yes, in 2 years, more use of influencer marketing. I do not think it's gonna have as much value or money for the influencer in 2 years' time.
Okay.
That's why I want people to start looking into other careers as opposed to social media or anything digital. Still look into being a doctor, look into being a manager, look into being a camera operator, look into being an editor, look into being, there's other career spheres. It's not just this. And
Yeah.
as much as people think it's easy, it's not easy.
Oh,
That's
no,
why
it isn't.
not many make it. A few make it.
Yeah.
And that's why rates are not the same. That's why you not get paid the same amount as Ulura Mark is being paid, because the quality you deliver in the content you shoot shows.
Yeah.
And it shows, it will see, do you believe in what you're selling or not? Do you know what you're selling or not? Do you actually, what you shoot tells us if you know what you're doing or not.
Yeah. And when you are an expert, it shows.
And it could be detrimental for you. Or if you're good at it, it could be great for you.
Yeah.
You know? So you need to invest in your craft. It's not easy. And it's not just money, even time. Sometimes call times are crazy. It's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're shooting the entire day. Relay one.
Yeah.
Just one
18
for one
hours.
client. You're
18
shooting
hours.
it. So it's tough. It's not easy as people think it is. And again, the quality that you see Mihlali produce or show on social media is things that aren't shot with a phone.
Yeah.
Some are, like I said, yes. But some things just cannot, we're shooting ads here. These
Yeah.
are ads
It's exactly
in
what I'm
real
saying.
time.
Yes.
These are ads on social media.
These are full-on productions
Yeah.
for timelines.
So that's why the quality is that good.
Hmm.
That's why the messaging comes across so clearly.
And lands.
That's why the content is so palatable. We enjoy watching it. And that's why she is who she is, because she puts in the work. And I'm not trying to boast. I'm just using her as a case study that
Yeah.
if you really invest in your craft,
The brands will follow.
there's months where Mihlali is broke because she bought a new camera and she's broke.
Because she's invested in the craft.
That's because she's investing in her
Yeah.
own craft. And I always say to them, invest in you. I promise you.
It'll pay
Invest in
back.
you, relax, it'll pay out. Don't expect payout next month. Relax.
But it will come back.
It'll come, and don't be greedy. I always advise this with everyone, even umuntu as big as Mihlali. There's no need for greed.
You don't need to take every single
You don't
brief.
need to take every single check. What I do in my line of work, I wish I knew more talent managers. I don't know many. I know a few. And of the few I know, I always pass on work. And
Yeah.
I will reply to a client and say, look, I don't think Mihlali would make sense for this campaign. However, let me speak to this manager who manages this talent who I think would. And I will literally pitch on that mail and explain why it will make sense for Leora to rather do this before contacting Leora or Leora's manager. That's what I do. I think if we were to work like that as a community, as an industry, a lot of doors can be opened,
Yeah.
a lot of money can be made. And I mean, now in Mkhopolo, you are going to make more money, because if you open more doors, I promise you,
It will come back.
it'll come back. Because when you
Absolutely.
think of the next person will think of you.
Yeah, and
That's
it
just
becomes
how it works.
It becomes an ecosystem, and I think this is why we created this podcast, was because we wanted to standardize things. We wanted that people can find a place where we can share knowledge, we can share resources, we can share, contacts like you to say, listen, if we put an ecosystem together and we share things and we share knowledge, we can only make the industry better. And with that, Levi, I must thank you for your time. It has been a very insightful conversation. And I think we're really blessed to have people who are able to, one, who put so much passion into this industry. You know, we are constantly at the butt of every marketing budget. We're always the last one to be thought about. It's nice to have people who are going out there into those boardrooms and fighting for us.
And ask questions, hey?
Yeah. And
Can I promote this? Advise because this is what I did when I started out. Don't DM a manager or a publicist or a personality asking for money or things like that. Ask questions.
Yeah.
DM out of curiosity of finding a job or trying to find yourself or trying to see where you could fit in and what you could enjoy. Right? Really tune into that. And when you DM a Leroy, who's a personality, or a Levi, who's a manager, you come looking for insight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind you DM me and looking for a job.
Yeah.
I will give you a job. I can tell if you really are invested and really want to do this. But I can tell if you're an opportunist and you just want to be close to Mitlali or want to be close to, you want access. I don't like people that don't do that. If you want to be famous, focus on wanting to be famous.
Yeah.
Don't maneuver and use people and use roles or careers to get to where you want to go.
And really miss the point that we're trying to share. And for me, it's been an absolute a lesson. I think we really appreciate that you really brought yourself into this conversation in every way, and we appreciate that you are continuing to make our timelines look bright with your talent. Listen, I could have said it better myself. I mean, the business of influence is doing what it needs to do. We're making bank in this industry, but we also have to be very careful that we don't find ourselves running ourselves into circles and losing out on information, on knowledge, and also opportunities to grow ourselves. With that, I say, keep working, keep pushing, make bank, and I'll see you next time on the Business of Influence.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.